بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Miss Leila Jahani again. Inshallah, today we will continue Unit 4, Lesson 3, the grammar. We will do the grammar today. If we want to remember what we have covered in the previous lesson, we listen to specific details in a conversation. We practice similar conversation in the pair work. We used vocabulary about food. We talked about imagining going to a supermarket, buying food. These are the things we have covered in our unit. Inshallah, today we will talk about, if you remember, we talked about countable and uncountable. Do you remember the difference? Because we're gonna use this rule in our lesson today. Do you remember the difference between countable and uncountable nouns? Excellent. Countable nouns, things we can count. We can say 1 apple, 2 apples. Okay, we add S to it. And the uncountable things we cannot count. Like what? Can you give me an example of uncountable types of food? Excellent. Sugar, it's uncountable. Water, excellent. These are examples for uncountable nouns. Okay? Okay, so by the end of our lesson today, you will learn how to use expressions of quantity, like a few, a little, a lot of, much, many, enough. These expressions of quantity, you will know how to use it in sentences. Also, you will know how to use pronouns like something, anything, nothing in a meaningful sentence. One more thing you will learn, inshallah, to use sequence words like first, then, after, that, finally, in a description when you are describing something, okay? Okay, let's look at our book here. We have these words: vegetables, carrots, bananas, eggs, and we have bread, seafood, milk, sugar. These are not in your book, but open your book, page 40. We will start the grammar, but now focus here with me. You have these words, okay? What is the similarity? These words, they are about what? They are types of, excellent, types of food. What is the similarity? Why did I separate it? Why did I put each one in this group and these on this group? Why I didn't combine it in one? Because what? Look at it. Vegetables, carrots, bananas, eggs. These are what? Excellent. Countable nouns. What about these? Bread, seafood, milk, sugar, fruit. These are things we cannot count. These are uncountable nouns, okay? Let's see. Okay. So we have, on your book, we have the first part. We have the expressions of quantity: a few, a little, a lot of, much, many, and enough. When do we use it? Okay, look here. With the count, they mean the countable. With the count noun, we use a few, many. We use it with the count, the things we can count. Like, I eat a few carrots. Carrots, we can count carrots. It's a countable noun. That's why we use a few. Okay, let me use, yes. Here, we have a few. We use it with the countable noun. Look at this sentence here. I eat. Can I say a few seafood? لا. Because a few, we use it only with the countable nouns. A little, it has the same meaning, but we use it with uncountable nouns. Okay? Uncountable nouns, things we cannot count. Okay? And look here. I eat many vegetables. And here, I don't eat much bread. So we have many and much. When do we use many and when do we use much? We look after it. We use many with countable nouns. Excellent. And much, we use it with uncountable nouns. Also, we use it how much and how many to form questions. How much milk? So much with an uncountable, do you drink? How many bananas? Countable, do you eat? Okay? This is how we use it. So let's look at the other part, expressions of quantity. Expressions of quantity, we will continue. So we learned about a little, when do we use it, and a few, when do we use it, and we talked about much and many, okay? What about a lot of? So we covered this one and we covered this one. What about this expression of quantity, a lot of? When do we use it? So a lot of and enough, we use it for both countable nouns and uncountable nouns. So we use it with both countable and uncountable. For example, I eat a lot of eggs. So a lot of eggs. But I don't eat a lot of bread. Okay, so we use it with uncountable and countable. A lot of is used for both. I don't eat enough fruit. So enough and a lot of is used for both countable and uncountable nouns. Okay? Okay. So just to sum up all the information, we had the expressions of quantity. To make it easier, draw this table. You don't have it on your book. Let's make it easier for you. So with the countable, we use many. How many? Okay, we use many. With the uncountable, much. Okay? And with the countable, we have a few. Uncountable, we use a little. Okay? Enough, a lot of, we have it for both countable and uncountable. This just to make everything easier and clearer for all of us, okay? Now let's do the exercise B, okay? Let's skip A. A, we will leave it after we finish the the grammar rule. So we finished only the expressions of quantity. So we will move on to the exercise related to it, which is exercise B, okay? Work with a partner. You will not do it alone. You will work with your friend, okay? Ask and answer questions with how many and how much. So you will use how many, how much, asking questions, and your friend will answer using either a little, a few, a lot of, enough, okay? So you will practice using the expressions of quantity, okay? It's a conversation. This is an example. We have it on your book. How many onions are there? Okay? Do you remember are, the, and is? We talked about it yesterday. Are is used with what? With countable or uncountable nouns? With the countable, singular or plural? Plural. If it's more than one and it's countable, we use are. But if it's like cheese, uncountable, okay, or countable singular, we use is. Keep that in mind when you are forming your questions, okay? So how many onions are there? There are a few. So we used a few here. How much cheese is there? There is a little. Because it's uncountable, we used a little. Here, because it's countable, we use a few. Easy. Yalla, let's practice. Talk to your friends. Ask them question. Wait, hear their answer, okay? Listen to their answer and then switch. Your friend will ask you and you will answer, okay? This is just an example. This is more practice, okay? Let's read it together. How many strawberries are there? So many, because strawberry is countable, we use many and are plural. There are many. How many tomatoes are there? There are a few. How much oil is there? Oil countable or uncountable? Uncountable, excellent. There is a little, we use a little. How much salt is there? Salt count or uncount? Uncountable noun, there is a lot, okay? How many carrots are there? There are a few. How many mushrooms are there? There are a lot, okay? These are just a practice. I'm sure your conversations are much better. You can ask and practice more, okay? To know how to ask questions about food and the amount of food. Okay, let's see the answers together. Noura, do you need help? Okay, it's a conversation. Muna, yes, I'm going to make a cake. Please check the refrigerator. Are there any eggs? We used any because it's a question. Okay, Noura, yes, there are. Muna, how? We're talking about eggs. Countable or uncountable? Countable. So we use how many? Okay, Noura, there are only a few left. Muna, how much butter is there? Noura, there is only a little left. There isn't enough for a cake. Okay? Muna, can you please go to the store and get a package of butter and a dozen of eggs, sorry, okay? This is, we use a dozen with eggs because it's a 12, and the package for butter, okay? This is it for exercise C. Now let's continue. Page 40, we only finished the expressions of quantity. Now we will move on to the pronouns, the pronouns, something, anything, and nothing. When do we use something? When do we use anything? When do we use nothing? Let's read the sentences together. I have something for lunch. I have something for lunch. I don't have anything for lunch. Okay? I have nothing for lunch. If you look at the sentences, this is a positive sentence, this is a negative sentence, and this is a positive sentence. But in a way, these two, they have the same meaning. صح? When I tell you I don't have anything for lunch and I have nothing for lunch. So it's a positive sentence, we don't have not, but the meaning is the same. We have the negative meaning. So anything and nothing are similar in meaning, but that we do not use not with nothing. We don't use not, we don't add the negative with nothing. We only add the pronoun, okay? Anything we use in questions and negative. Anything we use it with questions and negative, similar to any, okay? Nothing we use it with positive sentences with a negative meaning, like this one. We use it with a positive sentence, affirmative sentence that has a negative meaning, okay? Now let's see exercise A. Exercise A on your book is related to that part of grammar. Complete the sentence with something, anything, and nothing. So we have to use it, okay? Remember, anything we use it with negative and questions. Something we use it with affirmative sentences. Nothing we use it with affirmative sentences that has a negative meaning. You're a good cook. You always have delicious for dinner. Have what? Which one we should use? Think about it. The refrigerator is empty. There is what to eat in there. In here, sorry. 3, I haven't made what? Special for supper. Make yourself a sandwich. There is what? Better than a nice cup of coffee after a meal. Aren't you having what for breakfast? You should eat what in the morning. It isn't good to go out on an empty stomach. Okay? Pause the video, think about it. Think about the meaning of the sentences, which pronoun you're gonna use, and let's see the answers together. Okay? So, for number 1, we said you're a good cook. You always have something delicious for dinner. It's a positive sentence and it doesn't have a negative meaning, so we used something. What about here? The refrigerator is empty. There is nothing to eat here. There is nothing. It's a positive sentence with a negative meaning, okay? 3, I haven't, negative, so automatically we will use anything. Excellent. 4, also a positive sentence with a negative meaning. 5, aren't you having anything? Because it's a question, we used anything for breakfast. You should eat something. We use something because it's a positive sentence and it does not have a negative meaning. Okay? Now let's see the last part of the grammar. We have the sequence words. First, then, after that, before, finally. These words, we use it. Why? Why do we use it? To tell the order. It's a sequence to tell you which thing you should do before the other, okay? So we organize our ideas, we organize our thoughts with using these words. We use it when we are telling a story. Like, for example, first I went to the supermarket, then I continued shopping, after that I went home, finally I cooked dinner. So we use it to tell you the order of things I did, okay? Which thing I did first, okay? So we use it to tell a story. Also, you use it to tell a recipe, since we are talking about cooking. So when you are giving a recipe to someone, you use the sequence words. You say, first you should start the oven, then you should crack the eggs and mix. So you tell them, after that you should add the sugar, and so on. Finally, you put it in the oven. This is the end. Okay, so I know which thing I should do first, which one is after that, okay? So here, this is an example on your book. Let's read it together. First, you mix the flour and the eggs. So this is the first thing you do. Then you add a little butter. After that, you put in a teaspoon of baking powder. Finally, you let it rise, okay? So this is also a recipe to, I think, make pizza dough or something. So you tell them what to do first, what to do second, what to do after that, at the end, what should happen, okay? These words, we use it to tell a story, okay? To tell a sequence. We call it sequence words. Okay, let's see this exercise. Okay, complete the recipe. Use after, before, twice. So you are using before twice, first, finally, and then you use it also twice, 2 times, okay? So number 1, you should say what? You start. So when you start something, which word you are going to use? Excellent, first, and so on. First you start, check that, no, not first, here. Before you start, check that you have all the ingredients. This is something we do it before we start, okay? Then what happened? Think about it, pause the video, look at the words, look at the whole sentence, read it, and then write it down. You can compare your answer with the partner, and now let's see the answers together, okay? Okay, so before you start, check that you have all the ingredients. First, put 3 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 3 teaspoons of baking powder into a bowl. Then add half a cup of milk, 1 tablespoon of margarine, and 1 egg to the ingredients in the bowl, and mix them well to make the dough. After you have made the dough, let it stand for about 30 minutes. Before you spread the dough, make sure it has risen enough. Then spread it evenly on the pan using your fingers, okay? Finally, you cover it with cheese and tomato sauce and let it bake in a very hot oven for about 30 minutes. This is a recipe to make pizza. You can see from the pictures you have in front of you, they are making pizza, okay? And they are describing the recipe how to make it using sequence words, okay? So what have we covered today? Today we covered the grammar part. We talked about the words we use it, the expressions of quantity, a little, enough, a lot of, and when do we use these words? And we use it either with countable or uncountable nouns. Also, we learned how to use the pronouns, something with a positive sentence, anything with negative sentences and questions, and nothing. We use it with positive sentences that has a negative meaning. Use sequence words. We know how to use the sequence words to describe a recipe, or even you can use it to tell a story. So we don't only use it for recipes. It's something we can use in our daily life, even describing your day. Okay? This is what we have covered today. For your homework, you have page 112 and 113 on your workbook. Please do it, and inshallah, next class, we will do it together. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. Inshallah, I will see you next class.